Alright guys, I kind of want to talk about what's been on my mind with my bike. So I haven't announced this, but my bike actually is for sale right now. I do have it listed. I'm trying to get it sold. And don't worry, I'm not trying to get out of biking. I love biking. I think I'm always going to do this for as long as I see fit. But I do want to upgrade. I'm not in any rush to upgrade, don't get me wrong. I'm completely fine having this Ninja 400 for the next year. However, I've had this for about 9-10 months now. And I feel as though I'm ready for a not only obviously bigger bike and a bike that's going to go faster where I can have a little bit more fun on, but also a bike that's going to have a little bit more technology and, you know, just a more expensive, better built, better quality bike. Not that the 400 lacks in that. I love this bike so much, but you put a little bit more money down and you're going to get a little bit more bang for your buck. So I want your guys' opinions. What bike should I look at next? Right now I'm kind of debating the Ninja ZX6R, the R6 and the RS660. The R6 is being discontinued. They're really like overpriced in my opinion, and they have like no tech on them pretty much, which would be bad. The RS I think would probably be my favorite to have. However, it's really expensive right now. And then the RS660 I think is beautiful, probably the best looking out of all of them. However, it is again expensive. You're probably not going to get one for less than 9 grand, which is, I still think, good for what you're getting out of it. It has a crazy amount of technology, which I think would keep me safe. The negative to that is that the closest Aprilia dealership to me is about an hour and a half away, which is my only kind of concern. Not that that's a huge negative, but it's just something to consider when I'm thinking about the bike. And if I pick up the bike, if I ever need servicing, I'm gonna have to go an hour and a half away. And supposedly Italian bikes are less reliable. I don't know, I don't have any experience from that, but that's just what I've heard. So maybe sticking with something like Kawasaki would be in better interest for me. And so that's why I kind of am leaning towards, like, realistically what I'm gonna end up getting is probably just a ZX6R, just because you can pick up a good ZX6R for probably 6-7 grand, which are cheaper than the other two options. And also ZX6Rs have been around for a while. The 636 I think is kind of what I'm looking at. I'd rather that, especially it's been around for a while, but those are older and I don't know if I really want to buy an older bike. That's something that's kind of important to me, is no matter what bike I buy, I want to buy a newer bike, mainly just for the reliability. I don't think I'd really be too comfortable if I have like a 2002 bike and it always has problems and I always need to do mechanic work on it, because I'm not good. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know how to do anything. Everything I would do, I would be asking someone for help or looking up YouTube videos, right? I don't know how to do stuff by myself, or I'd be bringing it to a dealership. So having a newer bike, that's why my bike is a 2023. I've got it because I knew it'd be reliable. It's a new bike. It has new parts in it. All the stuff's like OEM, hasn't been messed with at all, so that's what appealed to me. So yeah, let me know between the ZX6R, RS660, and the RS, which one I should get. As soon as this bike sells, which like I said, I have it up. If this bike sells for a price that I'm comfortable with, and don't get me wrong, I personally think I have it listed for too high right now. I think what I'm trying to ask for it is more than what it's worth. I'm not trying to scam people and be a dick about it. It's just the fact that I'm not in any rush to sell. So if someone wants to give me that much money, then they can have it. But I am listing overpriced because I'm not in any rush to sell. Now, if the day comes that it does sell, then I can go ahead and start looking at other bikes. I am obviously looking and like saving a few that I like on Marketplace, but I'm not reaching out at this time while I still have another bike. So I don't want to have 2 bikes in my possession at once. I want to sell this one first, and then hopefully at most, you know, have 2 to 4 weeks where I don't have a bike. I don't really want to be more than that, because obviously I love riding. I don't want to have a huge gap where I don't ride, and then hopefully buy another bike for a reasonable price that I love and that I'm going to fall in love with. At the end of the day, something that's really important to me is that if I think it looks good, that's like number one to me. Like, I will pay more money for a bike to look good. I know some people might say it's stupid, but it is important to me. I mean, it's your bike. You want to love how it looks. You don't want to buy a bike that you think is ugly, obviously. So that is something that's really important to me. Who's gonna go? Okay, he's going, and he's going, and they're walking. The only thing that's a little bit like worrisome to me is the fact that those 3 bikes that I just mentioned, I've never rode any of them. The closest thing to an R6 I've rode is an R3, which are vastly different. The riding position is, okay, I guess scooters don't use stop signs. They're vastly different. The R6 has a much more aggressive riding position, and it's just so much larger in general. The closest thing to a ZX6R I've ridden is this Ninja, which I couldn't get in the technicals. I don't know. Like I said, I've never been on a ZX6R. I don't know if have I sat on a ZX? Oh yeah, I have. at a dealership I've sat on a ZX6R. And then RS660, I think same thing. I've sat on at a dealership. I've never test rode it. If I can get my hands on a test ride of an RS660, a ZX6R, or an R6, then I would, you know, love to do that just so I can see how it feels. Because, you know, you could love the way a bike looks, but you sit on it and you're like, wow, my legs are way too wide, or wow, this riding position is way too aggressive, and you're like, I can't do this, my back is gonna hurt from this. Which I do actually have back problems, so that is something that I need to take into consideration for sure. At the end of the day, you need to love how it looks, but you also need to love how it feels too. I wish I wasn't in as small of a town that I am in, because we only have one dealership for everything, and we don't even have everything, right? Like, we don't have an Aprilia, we don't have a Ducati, like all those like nicer brands. I don't think we have a BMW Motorsports. I think we have like Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha, and Suzuki. But like a lot of the other things, you know, we just really don't have, which kind of sucks. And even the one dealership that we do have doesn't have a lot of bikes in stock where I can test ride, right? And in order to test ride, I found this out from my dealership, you need to have, I think, 3 years of motorcycle riding under your belt. So have your MSF for 3 years, or your motorcycle endorsement for 3 years, which is crazy because that means I can't motorcycle test. I've only had mine for 10 months or whatever it's been. So that means I can't test ride until another 2 years. And by that time, I'm definitely gonna have multiple other motorcycles at that point. You know, I would have probably gone through at least like 2 more motorcycles. So I'm gonna have to purchase bikes without test riding them. Obviously, when I go and buy bikes, you know, from people, I could give cash in their hand and I could test ride motorcycles that way. But at that point, you're getting, what, 5 minutes around a neighborhood, going max speed 30 miles an hour. You don't really feel it for long distances and stuff like that. So it's just a gamble I have to take. That kind of sucks to being a young and a new motorcycle rider trying to upgrade, but it's not that big of a deal. I've absolutely loved this thing recently though. Like, I'm not gonna lie, a few months ago I got in a spiral of like staying on Facebook Marketplace 24/7. I was messaging people like, hey, can you drop this price? And I was so close to almost buying multiple bikes when I still had this bike, which was not really smart. I kind of just got into the shopping rabbit hole. But recently I've been taking this thing on more twisty roads and really working on like my lean angle and really, like, you know, refining my skills that I have instead of just trying to buy a bigger bike that goes faster. And it's been so fun. I mean, I didn't realize how little of the bike I was using until I took it on some twisty roads, realized that I could lean so much more, and realized just how fun this thing is to throw around. I mean, the reality is the more you upgrade on bikes, the bigger bikes you get, the heavier they're gonna get. Yeah, they're gonna be faster, but they're gonna be heavier. It's gonna be most likely more challenging to maneuver. So something like the feeling of a Ninja 400 and just throwing this thing around is just, I don't know if I'm really gonna get that on bikes when I upgrade. So I am gonna be a little bit sad to see the 400 go, because I know as soon as I get on another bike, it's just gonna be a whole different feeling. I'm sure I'll ride a 400 again once I sell this bike. Hell, I might even buy another 400 later. Also, I just want to quickly say thank you guys so much for all the support recently on YouTube. We've been absolutely like blowing up. I mean, you guys have shown so much support. Obviously, I ride because I love and I enjoy doing this so much. But when I have a whole community backing me and just love what I do, all I have to do is get on a bike, turn on my camera, and start talking, and you guys will support that. It's an amazing feeling to know that I have that kind of support behind me. So yeah, to each and every one of you, I appreciate it. Thank you. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon unless some major life event happens, but I love this so much. It is honestly my true passion. I tell everyone that. I don't find joy this anywhere else, and I appreciate it so much. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube and you guys don't know, I do have an Instagram account where I post, you know, sometimes like photo shoots or pictures that I take sometimes of the bike, and also I post reels pretty much every day. For the last like 2 weeks, it's been every day I've been posting. So if you guys are over on Instagram, go hit my Instagram and follow, and you can see those reels every day. I have to be somewhere at 5 o'clock. It's 4:59. Okay, let's go. All right, guys, back on my bike. And also it's a 2-lane highway. Is that's, isn't it? Wait, I know who that is. Where are you going? Me too. You trying to race? Turn around and get back. Get on the highway. Get right here. Again. guys, I also want to talk about my recent experiences that I've had. Dude, I've loved riding recently. I've met so many amazing people. Almost anytime I see a bike on the road or I see a bike stopped, I'll go and I'll talk to them. I've met so many amazing bikers. Yesterday, I went on like a 3-hour ride. I saw these twisties that were in like about 20-30 minutes away from me, so it was a little bit of a drive to get there, but once I got there, they were pretty nice. It was really, really pretty. I made a post on my Instagram about it that had a few pictures from there. They literally looked like a postcard. I was riding up there and it was amazing, and then like my camera ended up dying after that. Anyways, like I was saying, I ended up going to Cameron Park after, and when I was there, there was a kid that came up to me like on a bicycle, and he was like, man, I think I took pictures of your bike the other day, and it actually wasn't my bike. However, apparently there's an identical bike to mine that's in my town. It's a white Ninja 400, like same thing. It just doesn't have a blackout mirror or windscreen. So that's the only way that I knew it wasn't my bike. And obviously I knew this kid never took pictures of my bike. But yeah, so it's kind of crazy because I live in a small town and someone has the exact same Kawasaki Ninja 400 in the same color, because I think this color only lasted 2 years, I'm pretty sure. But I need to find that guy. If I see him on the road, I'm stopping him, and I need to meet this guy. Because also one of my friends was like, hey, I think I saw you on the road. I'm like, I didn't ride today. He's like, oh, okay, well, there must be an identical bike to yours. It's crazy. Anyways, that kid was super nice. He had a pretty nice truck. He had a white truck, and it had like, I'll put the pictures up right now. He had a white truck, and it was like wrapped, like with like black on it. And he was like, hey, can I get some pictures of your bike? And I was like, yeah, sure. I could park it in front of your truck, make it look better. He's like, hell yeah. So I parked it next to his truck. He took a few pictures, posted on a story. The kid was so cool. Said he wants to get a bike one day. Said he's rode before. Said he's only rode an MT-03. But he was like, he wants to start off with a leader, which I told him, I was like, I don't know if you should start off a leader is too smart. But I mean, hey, you could do it. I just told him to be safe and smart about it if he wants to do it. Then I left, and then right as I'm leaving the parking lot, there's four bikes that like zoom past me, and there's one out of the four that's like a Harley. I don't know if it's a Harley exactly, but some type of like cruiser, and they are hauling ass. So as soon as I leave from that little photo shoot, that dude, I go meet up to them because they parked like not too far away from me, and I went and talked to them. They were all super cool guys, and then he was like, yeah, we're about to send it down Cameron Park, which Cameron Park is where I'm about to go, and has a bunch of like twisty roads. It's like the only like good twisty spot in my town. And then we sent it down on these twisty roads with 4 guys I never met before, and dude, when I tell you, one of them was a cruiser, right? And when he was hitting those corners, his little foot pegs were dragging. Like I think I saw him throw up sparks like 3 times, but this guy was literally hitting the corners better than I was on my sport bike, which is crazy. You can tell he obviously has a lot more experience on corners than I do. That guy was whooping my ass, and he's on a damn Harley. I think it was a Harley, some type of cruiser, which is actually insane. He knew what he was doing for sure. But yeah, so just a really cool experience being able to meet so many cool guys just because I have a bike. Not to sound cocky, but you know, I have a bike and it gives me so many opportunities to meet so many cool people. I think it's just honestly a blessing. I think sometimes we get caught in the loop of, oh, I always have to have a bigger and better bike, but then you never really stop and like you slow down and kind of like look at like, you know, appreciate what you have. Like I've already talked about this, but I got caught in the loop of like scrolling on Facebook Marketplace messaging guys, oh, I have to get a bigger, faster bike. Or I even met up with a ZX6R one day. I tried to race him. He obviously whooped my ass. And I'm like, oh, like literally that night, I'm like, I went and looked for better bikes. And I think sometimes, especially I've noticed recently with me being able to use a lot more of my Ninja 400, and what I mean by that is just taking on twisties, learning how to use it a lot better. I think you need to slow down sometimes and realize like, wow, like I am so fortunate to be able to have a motorcycle completely paid between my legs right now and be able to have as much fun as I can on it. I think just we need to slow down, and especially with how social media is nowadays portraying bikes in like this huge fancy glory, trying to pose up pictures in front of your Fireblade or your Ninja H2, like that's great. And don't get me wrong, I would love to have one of those bikes. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a lot of times I feel like we get caught up in the logistics of the brand or having the expensive bike, or I have to go fast. Going fast is one part of a motorcycle, and I would not say it's the main part either. Yeah, bikes are faster than cars. Bike, you have so much freedom and control of the entire thing that, yeah, it's just more free. That's pretty much the way to put it. Anyways, speaking of not getting into like fancy bikes and all that, I am looking to upgrade my bike. A little bit hypocritical of me, but I feel like I have a decent amount of skills where I can adequately, you know, ride a 600 and not kill myself. So obviously there's risk with any bike you get. There's risk right now on the 400 that I have right now, and there's going to be even more risk on my 600 when I eventually do get a 600. But I feel like I've rode long enough, put enough miles down on this bike to where I have enough skills. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm so far from perfect. almost anyone I ride with is better than me, if I'm just being honest. I'm usually I don't want to say the worst rider, because it's not really like a competition or like measurable and really in that way, but they seem like they're better riders than me, just anyone I ride with. That's just the truth. I know where my skills are at. I feel like I can handle 600. Now, that's just me speculating, if I'm being honest. I've never even rode a 600. Well, I rode an R7, but I didn't ride it at full capacity, or whatever the term is, at its full power. I literally just took it down one street because I met a random guy. He let me ride it. I took it down one street and I took it going maybe tops 50 miles an hour, but that was like up to 50 and then done. It's not like it held at 50, or I didn't really get to see its power. But I got a feel for the bike, and yeah, I really liked it. It was really comfortable, and I think I want to upgrade soon. I don't understand how I could hit neutral going 30 miles an hour. I've hit it going like 50 miles an hour, or 45, whatever the top of my first gear is. I think it's around 45. How I'm able to hit into neutral, but I swear sometimes I'd be sitting like at a light, boom, boom, up, down, and I just can't find neutral. Like, I feel like I'm way more consistent false hitting neutral, or hitting a false neutral going 40 miles an hour than when I'm dead stop still, which is crazy to me. Just my luck, I guess.